Morning, everybody. How are you doing today? So we're starting this live transmission with some Q&A, some questions and answers. From the previous video, from the previous live, you had some questions. Like, for example, what would be the correct order in which you should start studying the openings in chess? Well, answering to that question, you should start by the least complicated openings, the ones that we call the open ones, which basically start with e4, e5. That is basically the king's pawn openings. You should start by those so that you can start gaining some skills, some tactical skills, which is always good, and also entertainment when you're learning chess. So you should start by those king pawns opening. Then you should continue with the rest, which includes the semi-opens. That's the way that we call them, semi-open. Why? Because they start either with c4 followed by a movement of pawn that goes to c6, something like that. Thank you. So when you start by, let's say, e4 and then you follow by c6, like doing the Caracan, or e4 followed by c5, which is basically the Sicilian defense. Those are the semi-open ones, according to the theory. And then you should finally start studying the ones that are called closed openings. Why are they called closed openings? Seems like a contradiction, right? Well, it is basically because they lead to kind of complicated positions. So that's the way they work. And it virtually starts with d4, d5. There are some gambits though. For example, the Queen's Gambit, which is basically starting with the movements d4, d5, and then c4. So I hope I answered to that question. The other question from the previous video was from William. Hello, William. I hope you're doing well today. So answering to your question, you mentioned you were learning Spanish and you had some questions about the way you should organize the sentences in Spanish. It is pretty similar to English, but you have more freedom. For example, when you say in English, we usually do the adjectives before the nouns. We say, for example, beautiful house. You have a beautiful house. But in Spanish, we say, tienes una casa bonita. But also, we can say, tienes una bonita casa. So it doesn't matter. You can place the adjective either before or after the noun. Good morning, everybody. For those who are getting connected, we are in this delicious coffee section in which we answered questions from the previous videos, from the previous lives. Please leave in the chat where you guys are connected from and if you have any questions. So as I was mentioning, when you are speaking Spanish, you can place the adjective either before or after the noun. Maria, she was asking about Italian. Well, I started learning Italian at age 22. It was still a good age to learn it. I learned it as the third language. I love it too. Just like I love English and I love Spanish languages. You also asked about tongue twisters. Well, tongue twisters can be a little bit tricky, complicated. For example, in English, we can say one that I remember now that is Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Kind of funny. And then we have another one which is Betty bought a Peter better butter, right? So when we are going to say it in Italian, then it gets tricky. The one that I remember now is 33 Trentini entrarono a Trento tutti e 33 trotelando, which means in English, 33 guys from Trento entered the city, all 33 of them jogging. It makes no sense in English, but it does in Italian. Now, in Spanish, if you were to say, you would say something like pancha plancha con cuatro planchas, con cuantas planchas, pancha plancha, which means in English, pancha is ironing with four irons. How many irons does pancha use to iron? So it is kind of tricky and complicated. So tongue twisters have this interesting thing that they depend on the language that you are using. So it might make no sense in one language, and it can make all the sense in the world in another language. So I hope I answered to that question. Um, so we have Roberto asking this question. When did I start studying English? Well, I started at age, it was 10. When I was 10 years old, I started learning English. And so far, I've been studying English all my life and now teaching it. And also we have Mario asking, when did I start studying chess? All right, so I started studying chess when I was 7 years old. I was in second grade at school. So we had a wonderful teacher. His name was Emilio Lopez Escobedo, but everybody called him Calderin. So Calderin was a great teacher. He was very passionate about the things he used to teach. And it was really wonderful to attend one of his lessons because he was always teaching you little tricks about chess openings and about chess principles. And apart from that, he loved what he did. Like, he loved his job. Let's start saying hello to some of the subscribers. Good morning, Kristen Berme. Kristen, good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful morning today. Let's say hello to you with this wonderful coffee at Citanos. Um, 6969 LOL haha is asking, you like Tony Soprano? Yes, I like him. Thank you, Kristen, for writing in the chat. Thank you so much for saying hello. I hope everything that you have planned for the day is happily fulfilled. I hope you start this day with a lot of positive energy. Sorry if you see a little bit of glare here in the back. Is that it is early morning now, and the sun is still kind of rising. Okay, so let's see, any other question? Hello to this user whose name is, according to the chat, Hi Bro. So if you have any other questions about chess or about all right, we're back live. So little interruptions because internet in this area is not ideal. I hope you guys can see me now. So how are you feeling this morning? Feeling ready to go to work? Feeling ready to go to school? Okay, that's the spirit. That is precisely the spirit. So another person was asking if once you speak a second language, it is very difficult to learn a third language. Well, it is actually not that difficult because what happens is basically you start comparing what you already know with the structures of the new language. For example, I remember when I was learning English, it was kind of more complicated to me than when I was learning Italian. Not only because Italian is similar to Spanish, but also because I was comparing the structures of English with the structures of Italian. So I was literally comparing the structures of my second language with the structures of what would be the third language. So it is indeed very interesting. Also, I have Jose asking about some chess openings. Well, like I said, I'm recommending you to study the simple ones first, a lot of gambits, also king's pawn openings, and then you get to the complicated stuff. And one important thing, try to study the end games as much as possible. As much as possible, try to study the end games. Why? Because the end game can be studied by itself. And then you go to more complicated stages of the game, like, for example, the middle game. All right. So once you have the principles of the end games, then you can study the openings and the middle game. The most complicated part of the chess game is definitely the middle game. If you are doing the end games, start please with the pawns. Very important to know the pawns end games, and then you should study the typical checkmates, like checkmating with the queen, the rook, with two bishops, also with the knight and the bishop. Okay, so that is pretty much the order in which you should do proper study of the end games in chess. All right, guys, if there are no other questions about chess or languages, let's go now to general questions. Oh, Michael was asking about if it is very expensive in Cape Coral, living in Cape Coral. Yes, right now it is a little bit more expensive. A lot of people have moved to Cape Coral from Miami, and of course that causes the price of rent and the price of mortgages to go up. So it is not as cheap as it was before, but still if you work a lot, it is somehow affordable. You were asking about boating activities. Okay, so boating activities. Yes, like 3 or 4 days a week. I work in the boating world as a supervisor in a boating company. So we go to the island where we work. We have a little souvenir shop there, which is also a boat rental center and a golf cart rental center. So we do all kinds of stuff there. We help maintain the boats. We help maintain the golf carts. We rent the boats and the golf carts, and also all kinds of stuff that is related to water fun, like paddle boards, kayaks. It is like a nice adventure, and of course the boat rides to work is wonderful. That is an unbelievably nice experience because when you get to work, you get all relaxed after a nice boat ride and breathing the clean air in the morning. That is incomparably good. Alrighty, guys. So I wish you all a wonderful day, and see you in the next video.